JTNEWS, well, Jim Jones is looking crazy out here, okay? Just did an interview with TMZ, and they were asking him, like, yo, is Jay-Z going to be on your album? And he was like, oh, I don't see why not. He's the, leader of the family. He's like, it was done like the mob. Then they're asking, did you even have a conversation with Jay-Z? He hasn't even spoken to Jay-Z, okay? So I'm thinking was it done through Lenny S? Like, who did the mediating? He said it was done through a mutual friend, and he signed to Rock Nation. And he's talking almost like Jim Jones. I always knew him as a boss, right? Like, even when he was with Dipset, he called shots on his own career. He assisted Camron, assisted Joel Santana, okay? He had his, when he did kind of break a little bit away from Dipset, he had Bird Gang, okay? This is when he went independent with Koch. I saluted him on that, even though Core Mega was one of the first successful independent artists, in my opinion, that I worked with, and was one of the first people at Koch. But anyways, Jim Jones was a boss over at Koch, and he was one of the pioneers of independent music, right? And being successful at it. He had hit records being independent. But now he's pedaling backwards, okay? Now is more than ever, it's time to be independent. You can put your own money in, put your music on iTunes, everything yourself. You don't even need a Koch, okay? Everything's digital. And yet he felt like he needed to go with Rock Nation because, people really miss that radio play. And, majors give you that radio play. It's talking, now I thought it was just a management deal. It sounds like he signed a whole complete deal with them. Not just management, it sounds like he signed to the label as well. Now, Jay-Z didn't even speak to Jim Jones, okay? So, Jay-Z is signing all of his enemies. I guess I don't really, the 48 Laws is cool, but that's one of the laws, befriend your enemies and, leave egos aside, right? Well, let's go through a history, because Jay-Z and Jim Jones, right? When Jim Jones was hot with Fly High, right? Ballin', he came for Jay-Z and Jay-Z came for him. But here's a history of why that happened. Camron and Jay-Z just don't get along. Let's go through the whole quick history. We got 1995. Both Jay-Z and Camron appear on Big L. If you don't know who Big L is, amazing artist in Harlem. Was about to be one of the biggest artists, but he got killed, unfortunately. That's another story. But Big L, Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous LP. Great LP, I have that. Then 1996, Jay-Z forms Rockefeller Records with partners Damon Dash and Kareem Biggs, both of whom Jim and Cam reportedly grew up with in Harlem. Now, Cam has called Jim out for not being from Harlem, just visiting Harlem, so Cam grew up with them. Jim met them later. Then in 1997, Camron signs to Sony Epic through Lance Rivera, who, Camron was supposed to sign to Big. Was with Big. Big died before he could sign to him, and basically he signed with because Big had died. 1999, Jay-Z reportedly stabs Lance Rivera in a nightclub, which was kind of Cameron's boss at the moment, over charges he's bootlegging. He thought was bootlegging his My Lifetime Volume 3. Okay, in 2000, Camron releases his second LP, SDE, Fire Album, which features a cameo from Destiny's Child, Beyonce. Then in 2001, Camron demands a release from Sony Epic and is courted by Damon Dash. So Damon Dash helps get him free, and then he signs with Rockefeller Def Jam later that year and brings his Diplomats crew there. I was actually at the first shoot. I was fresh. I was ending high school. I was still in high school, but I was trying to film hip-hop stuff, get more, I love the culture, and I had a show on NBC locally after Saturday Night Live, and I was at the Old Boy video, and I actually saw Jay-Z, actually spoke to Jay-Z in 2001 there, and Jay-Z and Camron, it was obvious they didn't get along at the Old Boy video. Now 2002, Come Home With Me, the third album by Camron, Just Blaze, Old Boy single. I was there for the video. Then while Jay-Z is always on vacation, 2002, while Jay-Z on vacation, Jim Jones announces that Camron has been made vice president of Rockefeller. Jay doesn't agree with that move, and there's more friction between the two. 2003, Jay-Z Nas feud. Nas disses Camron on Power 105. Camron joins the beef against Nas, releases Show You How freestyle. Then in 2004, Jay-Z, Dame, Big sell 50% interest to Rockefeller to Def Jam, which Jay-Z is president of, and basically Jay-Z regains control of Rockefeller for himself. Dame and Biggs create Dame Dash Music Group, which didn't really go anywhere. Camron and Dipset side with their childhood friends and go with, Dame and Dash and on that, because it was kind of a slick move. 2006, Camron releases You Gotta Love It, a diss track named at Jay-Z. Also, Jay-Z at this time was, Jewels was being held up by Def Jam. If you don't know, he was signed to Def Jam directly, and Jay-Z wasn't letting his album come out, so the Reagan era was on pause in 2006. Amidst the hype, Jay-Z's Kingdom Come album, Jim Jones, Dame Dash released this song, Kingdom Done. Jay-Z replies with Brooklyn High. This is when Jim Jones had a hit record out, Ballin', which Max B assisted in writing. Then after ignoring Dipset's taunts, Jay finally replies publicly with LP Kingdom Come. He says, why don't you get at old boy? Why you kill the puppet it leaves? Gap it alive. Why you ain't gonna catch them all together? This is why I dig one big hole in one time. Cool rhymes on dig a hole. In 2007, True Life, an artist signed to Rockefeller, goes at Jim Jones and winds up punching Camron in the face outside a New York club. Then 2008, in a joint interview with Complex, Jim Jones, Dame and Dash, Kanye doesn't really like Jay-Z. Basically, Jim Jones said, and Camron, Dame and Dash say Kanye didn't really like Jay-Z. Dame and Dash is the real one who signed Kanye West and believed in him. Jay-Z just wanted to keep him as a producer. Then 2008, Ron Browns and Jim Jones, Joel Santana featured remix to Pop Champagne. It's an auto-tune track. Then 2009, Jay-Z releases Death of Auto-Tune, taking jabs at them. 2010, Jim Jones and Camron release Toast freestyle over Kanye's Runaway. And it just goes on, man. So, Jay-Z also deleted Camron's verse off a Petey Crack song back during the Rockefeller days. He was hating, he didn't like Camron. So, they've taken shots. I think Jay-Z took shots at him on the Drake track, Cake. And then, Camron responded on the Breakfast Club. So Jim Jones signing to Jay-Z is crazy. If you these Dipset guys were brothers, okay? Jay-Z didn't want to see him win. Now, I salute all of them, okay? This isn't my problem. I'm just looking at it from afar and, seeing what it is. I mean, I've been a part of all of this, just a little 1%, as media, and, I've seen it. I've lived it, like I used to be around Jewels, if you didn't know. I've had Jim Jones threaten me for doing Max B stuff because I sided with Max B. Max B was talented. Jim Jones was holding him up. That's why Max B went on that Touched It in Miami campaign. So it's kind of nasty out here in the music business. I'm sorry this video is so long, but I wanted to give you guys a detailed history on the whole thing. Jim Jones looks crazy calling Jay-Z the boss and the head of the whole family when you were independent before. You're going backwards, homie, But, get your money, bro. I salute everybody. Peace. Jordan Tower Films. Jordan Tower Films.